Okay, can you hear me, Dane?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, all right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of your favorite YouTube channel and podcast. Hashtag KTLC Sports Talk with your host, Justin P. This is episode 171. No, yeah, 171. Yeah, for the YouTube channel. And for the audio podcast, it's season 4, episode 50. So you can check that out on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora. Basically, anywhere you get your podcast and music stuff from, just type in KTLC Sports Talk with Justin P. Today, got a very special guest, man. A former Raven, man. He was a part of that dominating 2006 Ravens team that went 13-3, man. So, like I said, we all know him, in the Ravens community, man, because he's real active. He's real, communicate with us on Facebook and all that stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Mr. Daniel Wilcox.
Justin P, thanks for having me, man. Appreciate you, bro.
No problem, Dang. Well, you already know we're gonna start with a little Q&A. So, you ready?
I think I am, man. Let's make this thing happen.
Got you. Sorry, I know I normally had to stand up. It's acting crazy this morning, so I gotta, I had to pre. First question. What's your favorite TV show or TV series that you're binge watching?
Favorite TV show or series that I've been binged watched is probably Game of Thrones. I'm not much of one of those old time, Dungeons and Dragons type guys. But for some reason, that show was so well written, it really drew me in. I ended up watching every single season from front to end. I've actually watched it twice. So that means, I really like it. But it was so well written. I thought it was a pretty impressive show. Game of Thrones.
Okay. That's it. Nothing else. No other shows. Just Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones will be my number one. As far as other shows, man, I watch so much stuff. We can go all day. My son is into Blackish right now, so he got me watching Blackish with him, which I think is a super dope show. And of course, they got their spinoffs of that already, so those are pretty cool. If you go back in the day, it was Martin. Martin all day long. The Cosby Show I grew up on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like Martin and Gina was everything as a kid, man. And Bill Cosby and Claire Huxtable was my prototype husband and wife, scenario. And Bill Cosby was, and the Cosby Show was who I wanted to be as a father, and who I wish I had as a father, so. But I mean, I'm showing my sons now a lot of those older shows, so that's why I'm bringing those up. I kind of pull those things up. I want them to kind of see, what kind of helps shape them, mold their father to be the man that he is.
Got you. Okay, all right, that's good, man. Me, I'm gonna keep mine brief. I like Law and Order, CSI. I like a lot of crime shows. I think I'm a detective because I used to trade with. I think I'm a detective, so I like.
I know that's right. That's what I was just about to say. Those are all crime shows, man. You can tell.
Yeah, I watch ER, of course. I like my little soap operas like General Hospital and stuff like that, and Young and the Restless. So
you watch Young and the Restless, man? That's what my grandma watched.
I'm an old soul. I watch Matlock.
He said Matlock. Oh my goodness, Matlock.
Number 2, just give me 5 movies that you like. Just 5 of your favorite movies, no matter what category you are.
5 of the favorite movies I like. The Notebook is one of the top ones on my list. Menace to Society as a kid, I thought it was one of the dopest movies I've seen. The new NWA movie with Ice Cube and all those guys, and I thought it was phenomenal.
That was good. Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah, Straight Outta Compton. Yep, that was a phenomenal movie. What else? I like a lot of the Kevin Hart stuff that he's done. I thought they absolutely hilarious, and I love his range of mobility, from his characters. It's not always the same guy. Thing Like a Man was a really funny movie for me. I've always grew up watching those relationship movies like The Best Man and all that type of stuff, So those are probably some of my top 5s.
Okay, me, I go John Q.
John Q? It's a good movie.
Yeah. Every time I watch that, I see John Q. Titans.
Titans, a good movie.
Ryan Banks, man, that movie, that's another movie. That's another tearjerker, man. That whole story was just so sad.
Yeah, that's a tough one right there, boy. That movie kind of pissed me off, just made me angry. And that movie is so close to the edge, JP, that could have been any of us. It's so crazy watching that movie, bro. That could have been me. Like, that could have been any of my teammates. It could have been any of my homies. So that movie, that kind of touches the little spot in my heart.
I watched it 3 times, cried every time. I ain't afraid to say it. Titanic, of course, and then my last one, I'll have to say Judge Dredd.
Judge Dredd. I haven't even seen Judge Dredd. I've seen everything else. I might have checked that one out.
Yeah, that is, man.
Pretty good.
Oh man. All right. Question 3. This is just your personal opinion. Your top 5.
Top 5. What? I'm sorry, you're breaking up, JP.
Okay, hold on. Hold on. You hear me now?
Loud and clear.
Okay, all right. Sorry about that. String you up and tripping. I say, question 3: top 5 rappers that you like to listen to. It could be rappers who are currently rapping or from the past, or dead or alive. It don't matter.
Okay. Definitely dead. Be Biggie and Pop all day, every day. T.I. has always been on the top of my list. I'm a Georgia boy. Outkast. It's a group. It's not a rapper, but it's a group. Andre and Big Boy are my dogs.
All right, they consider rappers. I mean, hey.
Well, I mean, they are rappers, but they're a group. They're not like a single person. You know, Drake. I rock with Drake hard. I've been listening to a lot of Kanye, yes, because he all over the freaking place right now. So I've been going back listening to some of his old stuff and some of his new stuff and trying to get into that as well. But I'm really liking what's the guy with the feather in his head all the time?
You said
the guy that has the feather in his head. He just speaks so eloquently. Sometimes when you hear him speak, he always works hard to kind of tell you about these. He always had these really deep, meaningful conversations on every single interview. It's not J. Cole. J. Cole is dope too, but
what's I'm trying to think.
It's the I can't remember his name right now, but he's phenomenal. I'm trying to actually start listening to some of his stuff right now.
Oh, you ain't talking about Kendrick, are you?
Not Kendrick Lamar, no. Not Kendrick Lamar.
I'm trying to think. You got some happen, G.
He's all over freaking social media right now. Every time you turn on, he's saying something inspirational. And his name is drawing a blank right now. I'll come back to that. I'll get his name for you. I'll tell you who he is. Who's your top 5?
Me, Jeezy, Jay-Z, Tupac, Biggie, and I'll go Big Pun.
Big Pun, okay. Big Pun in the mix, okay. Where you from, JP? You from Baltimore?
Baltimore, Maryland, yep.
Okay, you got a nice little range all up and down the coast right there, man. I see you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Question 4: your favorite food or favorite snack?
Favorite food is always lasagna. Just had some last night. Favorite snack, I'm a fat boy at heart, so I'm like those little Debbie snack cakes be getting me every time. Those pecan swirl, those little rolls, the pecan rolls.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Man, those Miss Freshly's pecan rolls and Little Debbie's, if they soft, I always got to kind of touch the pack to see if they soft before I buy them. If they feel kind of hard, they usually kind of stale.
Yeah, you know they've been out too long.
Yeah, man, but if they soft when you feel that pack, bro, I got to have it. It's hard for me to say no.
I'm a fat boy too, man. So I'm fat boy period. Right? But take my game. I like cheese fries, stuff like that. Ribs, steak, chicken, pasta, all like this. The only thing I really can't eat is seafood because I'm allergic to it. So anything else is fair game.
Right. Absolutely. I like it. I'll take that.
Yeah. All right. Question 5. When you're not working or handling important business, what's your favorite activity to just that you like to unwind with and just take your mind off stuff?
Television, TV. I sit down and go to Netflix, or I'll go to one of these streaming services, Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime, and I'll just surf the TV and try to see if I can find something interesting to watch. And I'll just sit down and just zone out on just television. It's kind of like my guilty pleasure, I guess. So I don't read a lot of books. My youngest son is a book fiend, and he reads books like nonstop. He's gonna break some crazy records or something later on in his life. He's gonna do some amazing stuff. I know he is. But I'm not much of a book reader, so I'll kind of zone out on some good television shows, some good movies and stuff like that, and I'll just really binge watch all day long if I ever get a break. I mean, I pretty much move, and I'm nonstop moving all the time, so that break don't usually come for me to like 10 o'clock at night, and then I can't sleep. By the time it's 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm still up, watching some show that I got hooked on.
Gotcha. Well, me, besides doing this, coaching football, I've been doing that for 15 years. High school, playing video games, my Madden junkie, 2K junkie, Call of Duty, all that stuff like that. I'm like a big kid when it comes to that.
Okay.
going taking walks, just nice jogs around the track, stuff like that to clear my mind, And then of course, hooping.
You can hoop?
I'm all right. I'm okay. I got a little game.
What position would you play?
I probably like power forward or something. I'll be like a Carlos Boozer type guy.
Carlos Boozer, power forward. Gotcha.
Get you like 10 and 10.
10 and 10. Okay. I'll take that all day.
So, that'll be my hobby. The most fun question of them all. You can have dinner with 5 guests, dead or alive, famous or non-famous. Who would you bring to the table with you?
One more time. You said dead or alive, who?
No, I said if you could have dinner with 5 people, dead or alive, famous or non-famous, who would he be?
I think I would go with the money guys first. I definitely would go with like Jeff Bezos or something like that. Hugh Hefner, definitely for sure. Definitely with Hugh. Well, he put it down. Pick brain, Martin Luther King. I would love to pick his brain. I would probably definitely Too Short. I want to sit down with Too Short. That's my dog. Yeah, he's probably one of my top 5 rappers too.
Yeah, he's a legend in the Bay Area.
Yeah. And then who else? I'm gonna say this just to have it controversial because I've never really liked the dude, but I feel like if you have a chance to really talk to somebody, because I don't know him personally, right? Donald Trump. I would say Donald Trump. I would like to just sit down and break bread with him and just kind of have like some real conversations to kind of get to the root of all his.
You just gotta make sure his hands are on the table at all times. That's all. Gotta make sure you know why I'm saying that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I would like to pick his brain, man, and just kind of see, where does it all come from?
Great business, man. I can't take that from great business.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, he's figured out a lot of loopholes that I would love to know myself. But at the same time, I just, as a human being, I hate to watch television and see people and then judge them, because I feel like it's so much going on right with the world right now, JP, where you look at television and you judge everyone gets judged, even social media, right? You get literally judged off social media. If you post something, somebody got something to say. They don't know you, they don't even understand where you're coming from the root of what you're saying. Everything is judged. People are so judgmental, so I hate to judge anybody without actually giving them a benefit of the doubt and getting a chance to know him, to understand where the foolishness come from, man. They just, I would love to just kind of sit down with people, ask some real serious questions, some stuff that you normally don't want to answer, and then have those real conversations, man. I think it would be dope.
Got you. Oh man, that's a great list. Me, I'm gonna go Jay-Z.
Jiggle.
Yeah, him at the I'm gonna go P. Diddy.
Okay.
Yeah, mine's changed every show if you listen, because I don't want that same answer. So
it could be 100 different people. Like every time you think about it, it could be 5 different people. It's the same thing with me. Like Donald Trump was not somebody I wanted to put in my list, right?
So this is episode 171, so it's been easily over 5 people. So I got Jay-Z, I got Diddy. I'm gonna go with Busta Rhymes.
Okay. I've been with Busta before. I've met Busta before. I've hung out with him once. That's a cool one.
Yeah, he pretty cool dude. I'm gonna go Missy.
Yeah, Missy's dope.
And then 4, I'm gonna go Eve.
Eve. Okay, so yours is all music.
Yeah, I this my thing. I go with all. Like last time, I went all chefs. I went all athletes. So I go with a different genre for that particular show. So
got you. You could easily do that. Yeah, you could definitely do that. If you go with a genre, it'll make it a little bit easier on you. Probably narrow that thing down.
Instead of like,
Yeah, I think business wise, it's Steve Bisciotti for me, the owner of the Ravens. He's pretty impressive. And I've had a chance to sit down and break bread with Steve before, and we've had some deep conversations. I wish I could have stayed in Baltimore like another 10 years just to continue to pick his brain and get to know him more.
Everybody play here, they still love it to this day. Like even the guys maybe playing like elsewhere, it's like there's just that aura here, like
right.
Yeah. So
Be More is it. Well, I'm telling you right now, JP, Be More is it. I played on 3 different organizations, man. There was the and all of them was first class. You know, the Jets come in as a strong second for me. You know, but Baltimore was nothing else like it. I mean, the fan experience was phenomenal, but the franchise itself and how Steve runs the franchise. And I think it has a lot to do with him being, you know, coming from a little bit of humble surroundings, you know, being a ball boy at Baltimore and saying one day I'm gonna own that team, and, you know, growing up in that city and idolizing something so much and wanting something so much and saying that I'm gonna get it one day and then go get it. I think it has a lot to do with that, you know, and him running the facility and the franchise the way that he does. Phenomenal guy. And I always feel like every great business starts at the top. It's only going to be as good as the owner.
No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about growing up in Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta is interesting, man. I've had a chance to be in and out of Atlanta my entire life. Of course, I was born at Grady Hospital right downtown. My mom worked at Grady for like 37 years in the operating room, so got a chance to grow up in probably one of the most prolific hospitals in the state of Georgia. So Atlanta for me was everything. It shaped and molded me to become the man that I am. It allowed me to have swag, style, a little bit of flair, some grit, you know, a little bit of tenacity, and never give up mentality. You know, the thing that I think helped push me and catapult me through the NFL was all, you know, derivative of what I learned here from Atlanta. You know, just being here, a young kid here in Atlanta, and going through my battles, you know, my fights, you know, my arguments, my, you know, playing sports, and, you know, being a Georgia kid playing sports in Georgia, you're going to get tested every single week, you know, so it's a test. You know, being young and being able to develop at an early age, I think was cool. Atlanta, the weather here was important, you know, being able to be outside more than inside, you know, instead of being freezing cold all the time, we can go outside and play basketball and football and baseball almost close to year round. And just being around some great people. You know, all my family's here. You know, my entire family is here, and you know, my mom raised me by herself as a single family home. Met my dad at the age of 17. Found out I had two little brothers at that moment, and I mean, shoot, the rest was kind of history. I went off to college and got a chance to play some JUCO football down in Millersville, Georgia, and it helped. It just helped shape and mold me, man. Like that, I think having that Army mentality, you know, at Georgia military, having to deal with the Marines, the Army, the Air Force, that structure, you know, put so many values in my life.
Gotcha. Tell us about your time at Appalachian State.
App State was different, you know, like it was kind of a culture shock for me. When I went up on the mountain, there was a ton of white people up on the mountain. It was my first experience like that. My high school was majority black. Georgia military was super diverse because it's the military aspect. There's probably more of us in the military than anybody else right now, you know. So when I got to App State, it was probably 90% white, you know, 10% other, you know. So, and other was everybody. It wasn't like just black. It was 10% other. Freezing cold, snowing all the freaking time. I mean, the guys would go skiing. I'm like, bro, black people don't ski. I'm good. Y'all go ahead. Y'all can have that. You know, so I just focused on sports. You know, I felt like it was exactly what I needed. I needed to be away from all the distractions. And if Appalachian State sits in this little town called Boone, North Carolina, it's like this little valley, and it sits down in that valley. So the wind just whipped through there like crazy. We call it that hawk, you know, so it was like just whistling winds all the time. So you had to learn how to catch the ball in intense, you know, experiences on outside, you know, intense temperatures and everything. It's freezing cold, below zero out there. You out there practicing. We had no indoor facility back then, and we practiced on turf, the old school turf, the carpet, you know, the Astro turf where you slide and your whole.
You gonna feel like
yeah, you slide, your whole arm is left on the field when you get up. You know what I'm saying? So it was a good experience for me, man. It really was. It gave me an opportunity to know that the world isn't just black. It isn't just brown. You know, the world is so many different colors and shades, and you have to be able to adapt to any situation that you're in. And so it put me in that mind frame that I have to figure out how to live with everyone. You know, my roommates, I had a white guy as roommate. I had a black guy as roommate. I had an Italian guy as a roommate. I had a Sicilian guy as a roommate. You know, I had another guy that was Puerto Rican once. You know what I'm saying? Like it just I got a chance to live with different people in my dorm rooms. or in my apartments. And then I got a chance to play with different types of guys, guys from different all over the world. That was my first real melting pot, I think, experience for me when I got the app, because you playing with guys that come from, I think we had a punter that came in from overseas at one point, and then we had foreign exchange students that came in to play soccer and, stuff like that, lacrosse, and you become friends with them and stuff like that. It was really cool, man. It was a really cool experience for me. And App is one of those towns where it's a college town. So over half of the population is college kids. When we come in town, the town expands to this massive town. When we're out of town, it's a ghost town. You walk through the streets, nobody's around. It's like tumbleweed just rolling through the streets, so it was pretty cool.
Like your path to the league was, not the average. Like I said, going with the Jets. So how was that for you? Like, you're not handing your name card. I know people probably say, hey, man, you're probably going this round, that round. So you had to basically get it out the mud. So what was that like for you, just, getting into the NFL the hard way?
It's a great question, JP. It was really hard, man. I'm not going to lie to you. Going to Georgia military JUCO route was probably one of the hardest tests I've ever had. And I think that helped shape and mold me for App State. And then App State was even harder. That was my first time being been redshirted when I got to App State as a junior, And then I left App State, and then I had about 7 or 8 teams telling me they was going to draft me, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, all that stuff came and went. Had a couple of phone calls day of draft day, and like, hey, man, we're thinking about picking you up if you're still around, such and such and such and such. Man, it didn't happen, So it's not a good feeling not to get drafted when you're thinking it's a possibility. Before they made me believe that it was a possibility for me to get drafted, I just wanted to get there. I just wanted the humble guy to just want an opportunity to go play in the NFL and to be amongst the greats and to give a chance to show my hometown that we can do it, right? So when you don't get that call after they're telling you that you're going to get it, it's kind of hard to take. It puts a little chip on your shoulders. It makes you a little bit upset, all that type of stuff, man. But once I got to New York, at the end of the day, everybody putting their jerseys on the same way. It doesn't matter if you're the draft pick or the undrafted. They're going to take the best player that's going to go out there to perform, and that's what it came down to. I went out there and I performed. I made the team in New York, and then I went down to Tampa, made the team in Tampa, and then went to Baltimore and made the team in Baltimore. Went to Germany, did the same thing there. So it was hard, really, really hard, JP, to adjust the day of and the week of and to go through that process. And still to this day, people still ask me, did I get drafted? It's been 20 years and they still ask me, did I get drafted? So it's still a hard conversation to have with people. Like, no, man, I didn't get drafted at all. I was watching James Harrison do an interview. And it's a prime example. James Harrison is one of my teammates. We played against each other in Baltimore and Pittsburgh for 5 years. So James Harrison doing an interview with a reporter. He didn't know that James didn't get drafted because James is freaking Pro Bowl. He probably mess around and be one of the Hall of Fame players.
He cut him twice, if I'm not mistaken.
Say what?
I think the Ravens cut him twice, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know if they cut him twice, but they cut him once. I can vouch for that once because me and him was on the same team in Germany. I came back from Germany. He got hurt when we was in Germany. They sent him back home early, injured. I think he hurt his knee, if I remember correctly. Then he came back like mid-season. So we still had like 4 or 5 games left to play. I came back. When I came back, the Ravens needed a tight end. Guess who they cut? They cut James Harrison and they signed me. You're right. But James was doing an interview and the reporter was asking him about him being drafted and stuff like that. How did they feel on draft day when you got drafted? And James like, bro, you don't know me. You don't know me. Did you do your research?
No, he didn't. Nah. That's how I knew that. That's how I knew he was undrafted. I did my research.
Right. Absolutely. But man, I was an undrafted guy, and it wasn't easy, man. But like I said, people still ask me that question to this day. How does it feel to get drafted? Never drafted.
Gotcha. You played on the Super Bowl team, the 02 Bucks, man. How was that like, man? Because everybody don't get a chance to win a Super Bowl. So how was that? A lot of people don't know that about you, because I'm pretty sure that don't get talked about. I know more so the Ravens stuff get talked about when it comes to you.
Absolutely.
When that 2002 Bucks team, how was that experience like with Warren Sapp, Derrick Brooks, John Lynch, Rondé Barber, Mike Allstott, all?
You just keep going, boy. I played with so many Hall of Famers, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, Booger McFarland, guys. Like, how was that like? Dundee didn't go in a group. What was that all about? How was that all? That whole experience like?
It was very interesting. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like that whole year was a weird year for me. You know, it was my second year in the league. I started the year off with the New York Jets. I was coming back off gaining about 25 pounds. They wanted me to gain weight to play the tight end position, so I gained about 25 pounds in the offseason. Came back, and they ended up putting me on a practice squad the entire year. And I was so frustrated, so frustrated. I've never been on the bench my entire life. I've always started. The only thing I've had close to being on the bench was my redshirt year at App State, and I was only redshirted because I was ineligible. I couldn't play. I was transferring from Georgia military. I was 1 hour short transferring. So that year, 2002, I started the year off with the Jets. They put me on the practice squad all year long, and I was miserable. I was praying to God, you know, it wasn't like I was supposed to be still playing football. Like, it got to the point where I didn't want to play the game no more. I had got hurt a couple times in practice because I'm out there banging, like trying to prove the world, mainly New York, the Jets, that I can freaking play. I just played 3 or 4 games last season. Now this year I'm on a practice squad all year long, and I don't gain the weight that you asked me to gain. I'm practicing my ass off. The special team coach is coming to me every week telling me he want me to play. You know, he need me, you know, man, he really need me out there and stuff, but they're not playing me. And the special team coach is a Hall of Fame in my book. You know, Mike Westhoff is one of the best to ever do it. You know, so I end up getting a call from Tampa Bay like week 10 or 11 or something. Nate had got hurt. The starting linebacker for the Bucks. What's Nate's last name? Nate. Shelton Qualls, Al Singleton, Derek Brooks. Nate Webster got hurt. When Nate Webster got hurt, they called me and asked me, did I want to be a Buck? They wanted me to come in and play. Hell yeah. I'm like, let's go. You know, I'm like, I'm on a practice squad all year. And my agent called me back. He was like, they booked the ticket for you, pack your bag, get to the airport. It was that quick. Phone call, you want to be a Buck? Hell yeah, I'm ready to go back to the South. Let's go. Let's do it. Hour later, pack your bag, on the way to the airport. It's on my day off. It's Tuesday. It was a Tuesday in the league. So it was on my day off. So he had called me the night before to ask me would I consider it. And I was like, consider it? Hell yeah, I consider it. And then he was like, I remember my agent asking me at the time, he was like, if they offered you the deal, would you try to negotiate with the Jets? Which meaning, JP, would I try to get the Jets to put me on an active roster? Would I get them to move me up so that the Bucks couldn't take me? Would I basically entertain that thought? And I was like, you know what? Nah, I'm not gonna even entertain it. Like, if they want me to be a Buck, let's go. We sucked that year in New York. We wasn't playing well. I wasn't playing. The Bucks was rolling that year. They were steamrolling everybody. They was on their John Blaze stuff that year. They was really smoking everybody. So I was coming from a losing program, an opportunity to go to a winning program, and it's in Tampa, Florida. No brainer. My best friends from Tampa, let's do it. So the next day they called me, put me on a plane. Like an hour or so later, I packed my bag for like 1 week, left all the rest of my stuff in New York, and I'm on the jet. I'm on the plane flying to Tampa. I get to Tampa, sign my contract. The Jets didn't even know I was in Tampa Bay, you know, by that time. So it was a pretty cool situation, pretty cool setup. Got to Tampa, we go to the Super Bowl. We steamroll everybody in the playoffs, and we get to the Super Bowl, and we start the Super Bowl off like we're the only team in the stadium. It's like it was interception, pick six, interception, pick six, interception, pick six, back to back, back to back, back to back. We went into halftime. We was blowing them out at halftime. The game was already over at halftime. You know, so it was like one of the coolest games I ever had a chance to be in. I'm playing against Jerry Rice, who's my idol. Grew up watching him run routes and stuff. Tim Brown was on the team at the time. Rich Gannon was the quarterback. It was a phenomenal experience, man. You're playing against the Oakland Raiders, who I used to love Bo Jackson as a kid growing up as well. So the Raiders was my team, you know. So to have a chance to beat my team in the Super Bowl, I thought was phenomenal, man. It's great.
Got you, man. Got that jewelry, man. I know that felt good, man. Like I said, everybody don't get it. So then you come to the Ravens in 2004. So what was that like, man? Getting here, you got Ray Lewis, you got Todd Heap here, you got Jamal Lewis, like Ed Reed.
Coming to Baltimore was like a journey that was long overdue. You know, it was like the Ravens were one of the teams that was talking about drafting me, and they ended up drafting Todd Heap that year. So I ended up going to New York instead. But they still called me and tried to invite me into training camp. But they had Todd Heap, they had Ben Coates, they had Shannon Sharp, At the time, it didn't make sense. I was instantly going to be the fourth, tight end, maybe the fifth. In New York, they had Anthony Beck. That's it. He was a first round pick the year before. They didn't have any old head guys. The second string tight end at the time was James Dirth, who was a starting long snapper. He wasn't a phenomenal tight end, but he played the position well. He was a great blocker. But he wasn't the type of dynamic tight end that I was. But Shannon Sharp, Heap, and me were all the same person. So it didn't make sense for me to go to Baltimore at the time. But when I got back from NFL Europe, Daniel Jeremiah, my starting quarterback at App State. You know who Daniel Jeremiah is, right? You did an interview.
Where everybody know DJ.
Yeah. DJ was my quarterback at App State. So he was, at the time, he was a scout for the Ravens. So it was a no-brainer for me to go there. He knew the type of talent I had. He called me. When he called me, he told me, "Hey man, I think it's a good fit for you now. I know it wasn't when you first came out, but now I think it's a great fit for you. I know what you're capable of doing. I know how special you are." And the tight ends coach is the same one. Wade Harmon was the one that was there that trained me at App State on my pro day, that came out to work with me with the coaching workouts. And he, in my face, he think I was the best overall athlete that he worked out, which was a huge compliment. So I was going to Baltimore as a rookie, but they drafted Todd Heap. So when they drafted Heap, I had to do what I had to do in order to make the league, make the team. I went to New York. I took the get there, but going to Baltimore was the best decision I ever made, man. If I hadn't got hurt, I think year 4 in Baltimore, which was year 7 overall, I'd still be playing. I think I'd have played up till I was 40. If I could have just stayed injury-free and healthy. And I hurt my foot, and when I hurt my foot, it took such a toll on me. My body never really recovered. Everything just started to kind of break down after that. It was the weirdest thing I ever experienced, man. I had played my entire career with small injuries. I had a wrist, I had a finger or two, maybe a shoulder sprain, neck sprain, stuff like that. Torn cartilage in the ribs, arches fall feet. But I never had no knee blowout or no major foot injury, no major ankle injury, just sprains, stuff like that. So that foot surgery was such a major surgery. It was a microfracture surgery and a colectomy. And that, I had never experienced that type of pain, never experienced that type of, crippleness where I couldn't walk, couldn't run, couldn't move. I was out for a whole year, like literally just a whole year out, injured. Then I had to go through recovery and rehab. Then when I came back, I played 16 games straight, plus all the freaking playoff games. Went to the AFC Championship and lost to Pittsburgh. So it was a long season, my first season back, and my feet never recovered. I had to prep both feet to play. Whatever I did to one foot, I had to do to the other foot. Otherwise, I've been walking around with like 10 pounds on one foot and the other foot real light. So I'd have been walking around with a pimp lip the whole time. So I had to prep both feet the same, even though it wasn't that wrong with the other foot. So it just made me I felt like a sitting duck, man. I felt like I was running around with ankle weights on, trying to, play football my last season. And that's why I retired.
Gotcha. So, talk about that 2006 Ravens team, man. I thought that team was going to win the Super Bowl, man.
Me too. Steve McNair's first year.
He comes to town, so what was that whole atmosphere like?
I think that's a prime example, JP, of what a quarterback does for a team. So when people don't respect like the Lamar Jackson situation because he's so gifted, so talented, so athletic, when he don't go win a Super Bowl, people can't wait to doubt him, can't wait to point the finger at him, but that's the prime example of what a quarterback does for a team. We were great defense. We had always been top 5 every single year for the 5 years I was there, but we was missing that quarterback element. Never had a quarterback like Steve. When Steve came in, it gave us hope. It gave us ambition. It gave us will. It gave us fight. It gave us the want to go play better and do better. Because you knew if you got open, you was gonna get the ball. It made you want to run every single route full speed. So that year, I felt like we was unstoppable. I really did, man. I felt like we was a well-oiled machine. I had a quarterback that was gonna get the ball to the tight ends. He was gonna get the ball to the outside guys. If nothing was open, he was gonna extend the play. He was gonna put us in a position to win every single week. I didn't want to be the guy to let us down. So it makes you work harder. It makes you work harder. It makes you want to do better. You got somebody like that that's going to sacrifice everything for you. And he did. He sacrificed everything until he hurt his shoulder. That kind of screwed us. And then I think we played Peyton Manning in the second round. We had the first round bye. We played in Baltimore. and Peyton Manning came to town. We ended up losing to Peyton Manning like 9-3 or
That
like
was 15-6. That was all
15-6, all field goals.
I was at that game. It was all field goals.
All field goals, man.
Mine, Bowler. Steve McNair. He tried to throw the jump ball. I think the Heat and Bob Sanders picks it off when Jamal Moses 7 yards. I'm like, what is Brian Billick doing?
Yeah. I mean, it was tough, man. Like, you get into those situations, and we should have never been in that situation in the first place. Nobody should have been able to stop us on offense. We was pretty damn good that year. And what
who was the other receiver? Mark Clayton.
Yep.
Derek.
Who stacked?
Kid Williams from Oregon.
Demetrius Williams.
Yeah,
Demetrius Williams.
We
had Clarence Moore. Yep. Clarence Moore was 6'6", jumping over people. I mean, we had everything we needed to win, man. It's just we got down to that moment.
Was the other tight end still there around this time? Darnell Dinkins?
Yeah, Dink was with me still. It was me, Dink, and Heat was the 3 tight ends. And we had everything we needed, man. We had everything we needed to be a Super Bowl champion that year. We were solid. That one game, we couldn't get into the end zone for some reason, and we couldn't score, and we couldn't get together a consistent drive. And that's why I feel like I tell people like that bye week is almost like a jinx to you. Like we're a well-oiled machine, and then all of a sudden you get a week off, right? Right when it really counts. The other team don't get a week off; they get to play. So iron sharpens iron. We sit out a whole week and come back and play 2 weeks later, and now we're a little bit rusty and everything ain't clicking the way it was before we stopped playing. Guys started to get frustrated because now they started to feel that press and that pressure, man, and the next thing you know, the wheels fall off. We end up losing the game that we should have won. With our defense, and we used to always say this right here. Ray used to say this. He used to set the tone. He said, all y'all need to score is 21 points. They won't get it. You know how Ray is. He's so emotional. They won't get it. All you got to score is 21. Get it. They'll never get to 21. And we won't let them get 21 points. So when you got a defensive guy telling you, all you need is 3 touchdowns, you can't win? Like, come on, man. 3 touchdowns? That's breaking 2 or 3 pop. That's it. You give me the ball, I break 2 or 3 tackles. That's a touchdown. It's a wrap. So just score 21. At that year we was scoring on special teams too. So it's like we was gonna give you a touchdown on defense, guaranteed that year. We was gonna probably give you one on special teams, almost guaranteed that year. So that means all you had to score on offense was 1 touchdown. Everything fell apart that game. Defense didn't score, special teams didn't score, offense didn't score. We only kicked field goals. And then we missed a field goal early in the game.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was a momentum changer.
It was huge, man. It was so huge. Like it was back and forth. When we missed that first field goal, it's just like writing on the wall. It ain't meant. So it just went all year, man. I hate it. Peyton Manning them did go on to win it. So I guess it made sense. You lose to the Super Bowl champion, you can't be too mad.
Sure. 2007, that was a bad year. We went 5-11. Everybody's hurt.
Let's not talk about it.
Yeah, that's why I'm skipping that. 2008, Harbaugh, first year as a rookie here. What were your first impressions of him coming into the door?
Harbaugh was a change of pace, a different change of pace. He was a totally different change of pace wise what we had. Billick was labeled as a player's coach, and they thought he was too soft on us, which I didn't really agree with. I never agreed with that, and it's probably because I bounced around the league. Our biggest issue, I think, in Baltimore was that we had so many guys that were Ravens for life. They had never experienced another coach. They wanted Billick ass out of there, So Harbaugh came in, and at first I think he came in, he was a breath of fresh air because I kind of felt like it was going to be the same thing what John Gruden was. You already had everything you needed. You just needed 1 or 2 elements to really, catapult you to the Super Bowl. So I really thought we was going to win the Super Bowl that first year, just because I thought I had just experienced it with John Gruden down in Tampa. He came over, took over Dungy's team, just tweaked the offense a little bit, and it got him over the hump. So he came in, he brought Cam Cameron with him. So Cam Cameron, I thought was, kind of brilliant what he kind of put together that first year with Flacco. How he was able to work Flacco in and not throw too much at him and kept the offense simple, stupid, dumbed everything down and just put in certain things that benefit Flacco. and it allowed all the pieces that he had around him to flourish and come up and step up to the plate without us making mistakes. So when Harbaugh came in, he had to assert himself. He was a shorter guy. He was a special teams coach in Philly. He was never a head coach, so he had to kind of assert himself as the guy. So he came in, and then he had these Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type personalities. So it was like you loved him one minute, and then another minute you hated him. Like one minute he's like, "How's the family? How you doing, man? How you feeling? How's the injury? How's the foot?" And next minute he's like, "Oh, you gonna play? Like, what's wrong with you?" He was like, "Dude, who the fuck are you?"
Like Jekyll and Hyde, basically.
Yeah, he was Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. You come out like I remember, like it took me so long to get ready when he came in. I was coming off my injury. I just came off the big major surgery on my foot, and it took me so long to get ready before every practice because they had to take my toe up a certain way, and they had to take my foot up, then they had to take my ankle up, then they had to, it was so much, man. Spat my shoe. I had special made orthotics, et cetera, et cetera. So you would literally come out there, and then you would come to practice, and if your shoes weren't tied, he would curse you out because your shoes weren't tied. So it was so weird, man. And then he would talk shit to anybody. He didn't care who it was, and he was pressing buttons, and he wanted to kind of see who you were, I think. So he was testing the waters, trying to see exactly who you were. But it was a different transition. There was a lot of people got their feelings hurt that first year. A lot of people didn't want to be in Baltimore after that first year with Harbaugh. His team kind of got dismantled, kind of like what happened in Tampa. The Super Bowl kind of prolonged thing, but the next year after the Super Bowl, Keyshawn get kicked out of the team. John Lynch goes off to Denver. Warren Sapp goes off to Oakland. Nobody wanted to play for Gruden. So it was kind of that same thing. John had to kind of get his own people in there that rocked with him the hard way. So a lot of people that was left in Baltimore were still Billick people at the time. So, but we ended up, being a pretty daggone good team with Joe Flacco as our starting quarterback, and he was the fifth string quarterback that year.
Gotcha. Okay, you guys get to the AFC Championship game, Pittsburgh twice. What was that like, man? Hey, we got to get them this third time, man.
It was tough. It was tough. You don't get a chance to. You don't get to the AFC Championship by luck. You get there by preparation and hard work and putting everything you had into something. And by us getting there, I felt like it was all time. I felt like Ray, at the time, I thought Ray's time was winding down. Me and Reed had been playing together for a while and stuff. Those are my dogs, man. I just love playing with those guys, man. If I could have gave them a Super Bowl, if I could have helped them get a Super Bowl, if it was in my hands, we'd have won a Super Bowl. I'd have did everything in my power to try to get them a Super Bowl. I felt like they deserved it. They earned it. They blood, sweat, and tears with them. They was my leader. They was the team leaders. On defense, it was Ed and Ray and Suggs. And then on offense, with all our quarterbacks going down. I think Troy went down that year with a blood clot. Cal Boulder went down with a shoulder injury that year. Steve McNair retired that year. Flacco ended up stepping up to be the starter. And so we had a big dynamic change. Jamal Lewis had got shipped off to, I think, Cleveland, and then we had McGahee, who came in and kind of asserted himself as a star.
Rice is a rookie.
Yeah. Ray Rice was my rookie running back that came in and was balling. LaRon McClain came in with him. So we had some studs still back there in the backfield and stuff, man. Derek Mason was solidified as the GOAT. We literally would stay in and block, and Mason would be the only one go out on the route. He would catch everything. It was crazy. Mark Clayton was a stud, making people miss in the open field. So we had some good dynamics, man. And that year, Flacco's and Ray Rice's rookie year, we had a chance to win the Super Bowl. And we dropped the ball. Losing to Pittsburgh is never an easy feat to deal with, first and foremost.
I know y'all was like, man, this can't happen.
That was my last game. I didn't know it at the time, but I remember walking off the field with my head down, man, like, I can't believe this shit. We walking out of Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. I can't believe this shit. I can't believe we left another one on the freaking field. Like being in Baltimore for 5 seasons and having the rosters that we've had, to come to get 2 or 3 opportunities to be in the AFC Championship is unheard of. And I don't know how we let them slide through our fingers the way we did. But Pittsburgh was a hell of a team. You can't take anything away from them. I mean, they went on to win the Super Bowl too. So we losing to the teams that win the Super Bowl. We ain't just losing to anybody.
Both those years, you're right, 06 and 2008, the teams that beat you went on to win it all. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, so it's not like you're just losing to anybody. You're losing to the best team in the world. So, I mean, I still don't know how it wasn't us. I feel like we was the best team in the world too. I mean, it was that simple. Somehow we just couldn't pull it off. They wanted a little bit more than we wanted, I guess.
Fast forward to 2012. You know, you're not playing no more, but to see those guys get that Super Bowl, I know that I know you felt happy for them. I know a part of you like, man, I should still be here. In that confetti, popping that champagne with them guys. So how was that like watching your guys you went to war with finally get what they deserve?
Man, I had like a 30-minute conversation with my foot. I looked at my foot, like, man, it's all because of you. Like if it wasn't for you, I would be on that team right now, winning the Super Bowl with my boys. But I was super happy for him, man. I really wanted to bring a Super Bowl to Baltimore. I really wanted to have one. I wanted to share that experience with that city, the city of Baltimore. But watching those guys win that Super Bowl, man, it was phenomenal. I remember my last season playing, which was Flacco's first year. I had my own TV show at the time. I was doing a TV show with Bruce Cunningham. And I remember telling Bruce, I was like, at the end of that season, I told him, I said, the way I look at sports is it takes it's a 4-year mark before you're your best. Some guys are exceptional and they phenomenal their freshman year, but they really are their best their senior year. Like their best season usually is their senior year. So that 4th season, you figure everything. You figure out the speed of the game. You figure out the playbook. You got everything memorized. You're playing 100 miles per hour balls out with no breaks because you know everything. You know your check downs. Who's going to be on every single route. Where they're going to line up at. Where they're going to be at. Where the defense is at. Where coverages are. Every team that you're playing against. You see them every year, twice a year. You know what their strengths and their weaknesses are. I told him Joe Flacco's 4th year is probably going to win the Super Bowl because that's how good he was. That was Flacco's 4th year. So 3 years after I retired, 2.5, 3 years after I retired, they won the Super Bowl. And they earned it. They deserved it. Ray Lewis deserved it. Reed deserved it. Suggs, all those guys, man. I mean, you talking about being a pro? Those guys deserved it. I can't think of a better deserving group of men that deserved to win that Super Bowl in 2012. And I was happy and super proud for him. I was happy for Steve Bisciotti. I think he's the dopest owner in the whole league. I feel like he earned it. He deserved it. I was happy for Dick Cass, the president of the team. I think he's special. I was happy for Ozzie Newsome, the OG, the GOAT. I was happy for him. Even Eric DeCosta was on that staff at the time too. I was happy for Eric. And I feel like all these guys deserved it. Hell, even Baker Copperman, our ticket guy, he deserved that shit because he's that dope. Like it's a special group of people in there. Manny, our cook, in the cafeteria, he deserved that ring. Everybody deserved it, man. I'm so proud, man, to see those guys get it. Earned it. It wasn't given.
Yeah, so talk about the state of the team now. Do you like the direction they're going in? Like I said, do you like the draft they just had?
Yeah, I mean, the Ravens always do a phenomenal job with the draft. I don't think they let anybody down or disappointed anybody. I think most people probably wanted them to get more offensive linemen because Lamar was running for his life last year. I think you got a dynamic quarterback in Lamar Jackson, and I think it's only time that's going to tell like how really phenomenal he truly is. He's going into year 4 right now himself. He came off an injury last year, and he had a bunch of injuries on his team all around him last year.
Year 5 this year. This year 5.
This year 5 for Lamar. I don't count the first year because he barely played.
Oh yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I won't count the first one. So, but year 5 for him, I think this year is going to be a eye-opening year for a lot of people. And how they look at Lamar Jackson. I think he still got something to prove. And I think he's always going to have something to prove just because of how he entered the NFL in the first place. With people saying that he's not a quarterback, he's a running back. He's going to always have something to prove. Just because somebody has another dynamic talent besides throwing doesn't not make them a quarterback, right? But I think Lamar will prove everybody wrong. And I think the state of the team is going to be fine. I think they got a gangster group of running backs. The running backs are phenomenal. They got 4 or 5 guys that can start anywhere. The receiving core is a little light right now, but I don't think it's going to matter that much because you got the tight ends that you have. So people don't count the tight ends as receivers. They're receivers too. You still got the number 1 receiver in the league with Mark Andrews. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, don't count them out. I think they're going to be very strong. If the offensive line can gel together and figure this thing out, got a new center this year. I think he's going to help out some. The kid plays nasty. I like the way he plays. He plays physical. He plays through the whistle. And that's all you need. You need guys that's going to latch on to people and not let them go and let Lamar do his thing. He'll figure out the rest, So you just can't let guys come free all the freaking time like last year. Last year the team got dismantled, man. It was bad. So I think they got a good dynamic, JP.
Yeah, like you said, we got that brick wall. One got Morgan Moses drafted Tyler Lindenbaugh for late Hayes, so they basically solidified their line. Like I said, as far as receivers, I'm sure they'll pick up a veteran. You know how they do. Bolton, Derek Mason, Steve Smith, Macklin, Mike Wallace, John Brown. They'll get some Julio or T.Y. Hilton or make a trade. Those guys will get cut is June 1st. You know this.
That's exactly what I said. I said the exact same thing, JP. When you got so many running backs like they have right now, somebody's going on that trading block eventually. Yeah. Everybody know that the Ravens are stacked. Everybody know they do a phenomenal job recruiting. So when it comes to trade, people usually can't wait to trade with the Baltimore Ravens. And they're not shy about what they want. They'll tell you. They're going to get exactly what they need by the time it's all said and done. They'll go through these OTAs. They'll go through these training camps, this training camp and mini camps and stuff with these guys they have right now. And then they're gonna cut somebody every week right now. Somebody's gonna get cut. It's gonna be a young guy get cut every single week, maybe even an older guy. Once they get him on the field, they say this guy good, not as good as he was. All right, this guy good, nah, he ain't what we thought he was. They're gonna let them guys go, and they're gonna pick up the other guys the other teams cut and bring them in, and they're gonna get them a shot. It's a whole shuffle game right now. It's like playing chess right now. You take those pawns off the board and you put them back on, and they keep going and keep going and keep going. But they're gonna make the right moves. Just trust and believe in the system, and understand that Eric DeCosta is the brain for a reason. He's the brain for a reason.
Okay, yeah, I totally agree with you. Like I said, and then we got some young guys, a receiver, Devin Duvernay, Prochet, yeah. Gonna be the number one this year. Tylen Wallace, and then they got undrafted guys that could probably make a name for himself and given the right chance. Makai Pope, Devin Williams. Slade Bolton from Alabama. So, like I said, you got to get these guys a shot first and see what they can do. If they're not, producing OTA, then you go. They just picked up Kyle Fuller. How you think about that move?
I think that was a good move for him. I really do. I think that was a good move for him. It's definitely going to help them out tremendously. It's a great pickup.
Gotcha. Okay. The schedule just came out, so give me an overall prediction. How you think we're going to do this year? I said 13-4, 14-3 off the rip.
The schedule? Yeah. I haven't had a chance to take a look at the schedule. I already know they're playing the AFC, so it's going to be a tough schedule for them anyway. With Cincy, Pittsburgh isn't going to be what they were, but they're still going to be Pittsburgh. Don't sleep. Cleveland is definitely constantly improving every year, so I think you got some wins and losses through that battle. Through those three programs. It's going to be an interesting year for the Ravens. They it's kind of a rebuilding year for them, even though they already stacked. People feel like the Ravens are not stacked. They were stacked last year. They just got hurt. Everybody got hurt. So when people get hurt, they forget how good you were. So you got to take it back to the year before where they did way, way, way bad 13 games, right? So I think it's going to be definitely in that range. I'm right there with you, JP. I think it's going to be right around that 12, 13, 14 mark, playing 18 games now. We always break it up in quarters. Every 4 games is 1 quarter. We try to win at least 3 out of the 4 every single quarter. That's our mindset. Or we try to at least split it half and half, 2 and 2. That'll give you a winning season. I think the Ravens are going to be stronger than people think they are. The O-line, to me, it's going to really boil down to the O-line. I think the defense is always going to be solid. They're going to be top 10 no matter what. And they just got to keep guys healthy. The secondary is stupid packed this year. So I think that's going to help them out a lot. The D-line is still a question, I think, for me. I'm still worried about, rushing and stuff like that, which a rush edge is really a one-step guy. That's the difference from being a great guy rushing the quarterback and a bad guy. It's 1 step. If you can gain that 1 step, because usually the quarterback get rid of the ball right before you get to him. But if you can get there right before he get rid of the ball, it's 1 step. So if they can get a couple guys that got that 1 step, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
I agree with you. Like I said, hopefully when the Jabo heals up, he'd be that guy to come off the edge and help out. You got Oway, you got Tyus Bowser, Dalen Haynes from Notre Dame. Ferguson, this is his last go round. If he don't do nothing this year, he's going to either be on another team or not going to be in the league. And then they placed a 10 on Justin Houston, so he possibly could be back as well. That veteran leadership and their presence on the edge. So we'll see. I definitely think this defense under Mike McDonald definitely going to be a top 5 unit. Like I said, everybody's going to be back healthy.
Right. Absolutely.
But Daniel, let everybody know what you got going on, man. Any business ventures, I know you still, talk with the people on the team and stuff like this. You got any charities, any foundations? Like what you up to these days?
I still have my foundation. I changed it from the Empowerment Minds Foundation to the Daniel Wilcox I Will Foundation, and we're about to get it crunked back up in the next year or so to start doing a bunch of major events and stuff. So I'm looking forward to getting that back moving because I haven't really had a chance to do a lot of stuff with the foundation since I was coaching college football and high school. Everything was a conflict of interest, right? So I still got my podcast, the Believe in the Ravens podcast on the Believe Network. We're doing that right now with Bo Smoker. He's a reporter with Baltimore as well. Me and him do that together. And then down here in Atlanta, I have my own housing company where I build housing, custom houses. Wilcox Custom Homes. So we're bouncing all over the place doing that type of stuff. And it's doing well, man. We're doing really, really great things. And I still dibble and double with the coaching and training every now and then. It's kind of hard to get away from football. So it's kind of hard to say no to sometime when the kid calls you and say, hey, man, I'm a receiver. I just want to be better. I heard you the best. Let's do it, And I try to get with these kids sometimes, man. But I'm trying to just really focus on my company right now and just put everything on Wilcox Customs and allow it to grow the way it should. I think it's a company that could be really, beneficial for me and my family and my, and everybody else that I know, that needs some work. When guys retire from the NFL, they need therapy. We all need therapy. We got to find a way to, to calm our brains down, to assert ourselves back into the real world and the ordinary world and become somebody that's not extraordinary all of a sudden, which is hard to do, man. Like people don't get that. When you've been over the top extraordinary your entire life at something, and then all of a sudden you can't do it no more. You got to find a substitute to kind of give you that energy, So sometimes we need some therapy, picking up a hammer and nailing things and drilling things drilling screws into wood and stuff. Sometimes that's therapy for us, So if I could help out some of us retiring, that would be awesome,
Gotcha. Okay. Who would you like to see be a guest on KTSE Sports Talk next? Before you answer that, you gotta help me get that person.
I gotta help you get that person on there.
Yeah, man. I ain't got use like you got. Someone need a little help, so
a good friend of mine, he would probably definitely do it, JP. I think it would be Evan Oglesby, number 25 for the Baltimore Ravens. Used to do that.
I remember him.
Yeah, he was a stud cornerback for us and special teams players for us and bounced back and forth from Baltimore to Miami. I think he went to Miami and came back to Baltimore, played a little bit more for the Ravens. But he's a stud, man. And he's down here in the Atlanta area doing some great things as well. So I think he would be a good one. I would definitely help you reach out to him as well.
Got you. All right, one last thing. I'm gonna let you get out of here. Let people know why they should subscribe to this channel, man.
Justin's out here doing his thing, man. He's a Baltimore native. You're a Raven fan. I think you should get out here and support your people always. So if you're in the Baltimore area, if you're not subscribed to Justin's channel, I mean, come on, man, what y'all doing? You know what I'm saying? Like support fellow Ravens fans, fellow Ravens, and just get out here, man, and be that extra backbone and that extra support. There's a lot of hate going around, JP. There's a lot of people that's going to hate on you. If somebody's hating on you, they say that means you're doing the right thing. Cat Williams said, if you don't want your haters, give them to me. I'll take your haters. So you're going to get some people that's not going to follow you just off some just straight hate stuff, man. But at the end of the day, it all boils down to how great you are at what you're doing. I think you're doing a phenomenal job, man. And, keep it going. Keep it going. I mean, ain't too many people could say they got 171 episodes.
Yes, sir, man. And I'm glad you took time out your busy. I know we went a little longer than we expected, but hey, man, that's how the conversation is genuine and good, man.
Well, I appreciate that, JP. Appreciate it, brother. I appreciate you having me on too, man. Thanks for the invite.
And like I said, this ain't gonna be a one-time thing either, man. We definitely gonna do this again for sure.
Say no more.
So everyone, that's it for episode 171. You can check this out on YouTube, Anchor, Spotify, and all that good stuff like that. Any last words for the people, Daniel?
Baltimore, I love you. I'll be up there this weekend. I'm coming up for the Beach Bash with the Ravens. I appreciate Matt Little from the Baltimore Ravens inviting me up. It's always a blessing to be able to come back to the city of Baltimore to do anything and be involved with anything that's fan-based. And, the greatest organization in the NFL, the Baltimore Ravens, man. Keep supporting them. Keep having their back. Believe in big trust. All right? Believe in big trust. I'm even rocking my Lamar Jackson gear today myself. Nobody cares. Work hard. Let's go, people.
All right, everyone, that's it for this episode. I love you guys. I know what I'm about to say. Be great on your way to the figure 8, and always remember the hashtag KTSC. Keep that same energy. From your host, Justin P., and my special guest, Mr. Daniel Wilcox. See you guys later on. I got Coach Hugh Jackson coming on from Grambling State, so you guys tune in for that, man. So, it's been a busy week, man. I'm going to try and pull these guests in for y'all, so man, so keep subscribing and keep tuning in, man. It's only gonna get bigger and better. Love you guys, and I'll see y'all guys later on, 7 p.m. Eastern with Coach Hugh Jackson on. Peace.